Hey guys, it's Johnny here. You're probably wondering why I am doing a video in my exercise bra, basically, with a silent playing in the background and sweaty face and makeup. I just kind of wiped some of the makeup off my face. It was running down. Normally I wash my face when I get off work and come home and work out, but I didn't today. So anyway, so this is me after a workout with a little bit of time in between. Otherwise my face would be bright red right now. But anyway, the reason why I wanted to do a second video today, 2-for-1 day today, is because after I did my first video today on why are you afraid of success, I'm teaching, some of you know, I'm teaching for a friend of mine. I'm filling in for her while she's on maternity leave. And so I'm doing this gig. It's a special ed math class that I'm doing. Got a special addendum to my certification for that. And I hadn't been in the classroom for like 10 years, right? And so the past 10 years, I've been working predominantly mental health. The first couple of years I did like home visits, worked with juvenile facilities, went into some schools, but for the most part, it was mostly like, you know, home visits, home risk things, worked with juvenile, worked with DFCS, worked with various different counseling agencies, had worked for nonprofit. Then I worked for a for-profit hospital, worked for another for-profit hospital after that. It was behavioral health only, mostly with chemical dependency type issues, adults later on. So, and I already told the story about how I would have thought you were crazy if you would have told me that sitting here right now today at the age of 43 that I would be doing half the things that I'm doing, and that I would be attempting to add a few more things onto my plate to kind of make myself, you know, hit the mark of what I want to do and my calling in life. So part of my process and part of my journey was getting back into my own stuff, you know, because if you're not role modeling really for yourself first, then who are you going to be role modeling for? I mean, you know, when my kids were young, it's easy to say, oh, well, I can, you know, do this or sleep in or, you know, have these bad habits. They're never going to know. You never know who is watching you. You never know who's watching you. So here's one of my motivations to actually do my stuff, because after I got done with my classes today, well, two things. One was, you know, parents always get a phone call home in the evening, or sometimes even on weekends, when their kids aren't doing well in school, right? When they're misbehaving. But I have this 8th grade lab class right now that is just rocking the socks off everything behaviorally, work-wise. We had to go into another teacher's class today so I could help teach part of a lesson there. They were wonderful while we were in there. They were just really, I mean, all of my kids are good, but I mean, this particular class didn't necessarily have good expectations for themselves. Many of them have given up on school at this point in time. And so they're struggling. And so, you know, I've come into this, we weren't sure how things were going to go because it's the middle of the year and they're used to their teacher. So, but they've been just doing phenomenal stuff. And so after I promised the kids, I said, hey, you know, I'm going to call your parents because it's a 3-day weekend coming up, Super Bowl weekend. You guys probably have parties and things going on. I'm going to call your parents today and I'm going to tell them what an awesome job you're all doing. And when I did, oh my gosh, guys, I like, seriously, if I had shown you the video of my face and there were just tears running down my face listening to these parents' voices. So these are parents of kids that get called a lot for behavioral problems or for, you know, things, your kid's not doing their work or they're getting an F or they're, you know, and this for many of them, I mean, you know, they get this call from the school and they're like, oh, what has he done now? In fact, one of them answered, what's he done now? And I was like, nothing, he's not done anything. In fact, if anything, I'm calling to introduce myself and, you know, just kind of gave him a little bit of background, told him how to get in touch with me if they need. But then said, hey, your kid is raising their hand and asking questions and they're involved. And yeah, there's a little hamming it up and there's like some, you know, some kid stuff. But other than that, they're doing really, really well. And so, you know, give them a pat on the back this weekend, you know, prop them up a little bit because that's good. I hope that they can do that through the end of the year. So we'll see. I mean, we're 2 weeks in. The rodeo's not over yet, which actually takes me to my next thing, because a couple of weeks ago, I'll tie all this together, I promise. So I had, a couple of weeks ago, I had somebody that I was on the phone with, potential client, who's actually a friend of mine, who was saying, well, you know, Beachbody and all, am I going to have to keep buying stuff? Because, you know, like Weight Watchers or all these other things, you have to keep buying stuff in order to maintain. That was what I was finding with the orange therapy thing. You have to keep buying these sessions in order to keep what your gains. And I started to think about it a little bit. And I said, well, you know, I'm not in this to sell things. I use this as a tool. It's really a tool for me as a trainer and a coach in order to give you something that is kind of put together, right? That I don't have to do the extra work for, so therefore it's more affordable for you, as well as being easier for me to help you through the process of it. And we're all doing it together, so, you know, it's really cool. In fact, I've been doing these workouts for, you know, almost 4 years now. You guys know that. A little bit over that with the P90X if you throw that in, but that doesn't really count. So anyway, fast forward. So story about the kids, story about this friend. So I was thinking about it after I got off the phone with these parents, and that thing popped into my head with my friend a couple weeks ago, and I thought, you know what? Nothing is done. Your change is never over. Like these kids, they could come back Tuesday and be horrible, and then I might have to call their parents for other reasons, which I hate doing, but it might happen because the work is never over. It's not like you get skinny and suddenly, boop, I don't have to work out anymore, or I don't have to eat healthy anymore, or I don't have to do the things that I want. I can just go back to my bad habits again. No, wrong. It's the same with the kids. They might, you know, they might turn it around again on Tuesday or have a bad day or something. But here's the thing, is that every day you get up and do it. I didn't want to work out today. That's what really brought me to mind of this whole thing. I did not want to work out today. I got home. I actually wanted to this morning. And then I got home and I was like, oh, the last thing I want to do is pick up a weight and I love working out and I love weight training, but I just wasn't in the mood for it. And I said, you know what? You better put that DVD on and fake it till you make it. Just do it. Because you know what? I'm a role model for those kids. They don't see me doing this stuff at home. Some of them don't even know. They may or may not even know. I mean, they know that I know Shanti because we talked about that. That was one of we told things like something cool about ourselves that we didn't think anybody would know. And that was what I shared with them. So they know about that part, but they don't know that I come home and I do this every day. They don't know that on the days when like I'm stressed out and they haven't been behaving, I come home and I do this with a passion. But you know, I didn't want to work out, but I'm still a role model, and you never know who is watching you. People don't tell me that they're watching my YouTube videos. I just started this, but I know that there have got to be people who are watching these videos and will probably watch them in the future. And even some of my students might watch them eventually if they find me on YouTube. You know, stranger things have happened, which, you know, I watch what I say and do now a lot more because of that. So my kids are older now. You know, they've watched me. And I know now that it's not true. It's never true if you say, if I don't do this, then I'm only affecting myself. Or if I don't act like a role model, even when I think no one is watching. That's the key. Doing things when you don't think anybody is watching. You don't know what an impact and an influence that is going to be on other people. So those kids in my class who rock the socks off and their parents who are just thrilled to death, crying tears because they've never heard such good things about their kids, at least in a long time, was really, I mean, it was moving for me, but it was also a really strong reminder. And to my friend who thinks that, you know, I'm going to have to keep buying Shakeology forever. Well, I have. You know why? Because it works. I continue to buy a new workout program every 3 to 6 months, depending on what I'm doing, because it works. For me, I mean, will it work for everybody? I don't know. But if you don't try it, you won't know. And it just becomes an excuse. So keep that in mind. You never know who's watching. And you need to be a role model even when you think no one is watching, especially for yourself. Because now I feel awesome because I did my workout. Woo! All right, I will talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye.